We're ready to go. The Browns will receive to start the game. And there is Dave Rayner ready to kick off now for the Colts. He's been kicking off deep. They have actually two place kickers. They've got Vanderjack as their that does the field goal work. Back deep is William Green, number 31 for the Browns. Rayner's into the ball. A line drive kick. It'll carry into the end zone or down to the goal line. Here comes Green. A former first-round draft choice from Boston College crashes out to the 22-yard line. And there, Trent Dilfer and the Browns go on offense, 1st and 10. Every Colt coach and player we talked about getting the speed game up, getting after the offense. They do it with smaller players and a lot of speed all over their defense.
And already we see an effect of the crowd noise here.
False start. Offense. Number 60.
Jeff Triplett, our referee.
It's still first down.
You can chalk that up to home field, Don. Right off the bat, the crowd. It's so noisy in here in this dome stadium. The offense of the Browns is going to have to go to a silent count here early on. First play from scrimmage, and they can't even hear the snap count.
And the Colt fans kick in again. The 12th man is a huge factor here in the dome. 1st and 15. Dilfer somehow manages to get the ball in the hands of Drones. He tripped, as you saw, going back. And number 50, David Thornton, was quickly there to make the tackle.
It looked like Dilfer got tripped up by his offensive line, who were moving. Watch his feet, and just got stepped on by his center as he does make the handoff. And that happens a lot of times. That offensive line has to get out of there. They know they're playing a fast defense, and they'll step a little bit differently than they do every day in practice, and it clips their quarterback's foot.
The Colts have allowed just 10 points in 2 games. They have allowed a lot of rushing yards, though. Opponents are averaging 4.6, but on this 2nd and long now, Dilfer looking to throw the ball downfield. Makes the connection. That is the rookie, #1 draft choice, Braylon Edwards from Michigan. Brings the ball in. Thornton was on the play along with the undersized but very quick middle backer Gary Brackett. A gain of 10 yards on the play, and a marker's thrown in after the ball, after the whistle blew. Dungy told us that he expects the Browns will run the ball a lot and throw short passes, try to play a ball control game.
Yeah, it'll be very important for the Browns to be more successful on 1st and down.
After the play is over. Unsportsmanlike conduct. Taunting, number 17 of the offense. That's a half the distance to the goal. It will be 3rd down.
And that is a rookie penalty. Braylon Edwards, you got to learn. You're on the road. You do not stand up and taunt the home team in the crowd. You know, the first thing you look at in this Colts defense is the first thing that strikes is they're a little undersized, particularly at their linebacker and their defensive end spots. But everybody on that defense can run and run fast, and you have to deal with that.
The Braylon Edwards penalty could be very expensive. They don't convert here, though. Even the Colts good field position. They screen the ball to Drones. Turns upfield. He's got a gap, and Drones is all the way out to the 30-yard line. Had to get to the 32. So it almost got there on the screen pass play. Mike Doss brought him down, a 15-yard gain.
Well, they had 3 blockers, and this is the good work by the offensive line. Watch as they let the defenders come through, and the speed of the Colts gets used against them as they run right past Dilfer, and they take themselves out of the play on the screen pass. That's how one way you negate the speed of this Colt defense, is use it against them.
There is Troy Walters, the punt returner for the Colts. Kyle Richardson will punt for the Browns. He's been a big grade up for punting. Cleveland did not have a good punting game last year with Frost, and here is a terrific special teams play. Coming down to make the hit as soon as Walters caught the ball was Michael Lehan, number 39. 42-yard punt and -2 on the return. So they can't all stay back, trying to protect against our downfield passing game. Colts go to the run on 1st down, and Edgerrin James runs the ball for not very much, gets it close to the 30-yard line. McKinley was on the tackle. Baxter at cornerback has been a big acquisition, a very expensive free agent signing from the Ravens. Here is Manning, rushes on, he loops a screen pass play, and the Browns are all over it, and so is a penalty marker thrown in on top of the play. Jason Fisk, a nose tackle, is able to get back. He Felt there was going to be a screenplay, dropped off, and was there to make the tackle.
Jeff Triplett really thinking that over, kind of had a look of consternation as he heard that penalty.
Eligible downfield on a forward pass. Number 65 in the offense. That's a 5-yard penalty. It's still second down.
There is the first-year head coach of the Browns, Romeo Crennel. Of course, he in the recent years has been the defensive coordinator of the champion Patriots. He knows Manning very well, and Tony Dungy, his counterpart now, with a great one-loss record. Look at his record with the Colts, 36-14 in the regular season, 10-6, 12-4, 12-4. And now after the penalty, Manning's in the shotgun on 2nd and 11. Standing in, he throws a fastball to the flank, makes a connection to Marvin Harrison, his 10th catch of the year. Gain on the play of about 4 or 5 yards out close to the 32, tackled by McCutcheon.
And you see as Peyton Manning now, he'll call his own plays and get his players lined up and then look at the defense. And what the defense will do to counteract that is they'll mill around like a herd of cows. They won't get down in their stance. They don't want him to know what they're doing before that ball is snapped. You see how the defensive linemen won't put their hand on the ground? They're standing around and watch. They'll move a little bit before the snap. All this is a chess game before the play even starts.
Well, let's see what move he makes. With a 3rd down and 5 coming up. Long count. Good rush. Manning throws it over the middle, and good defense by the Browns as the receiver, Marvin Harrison, is cut down by Sean Thompson, short of a 1st down by a couple of yards. So the Browns stand tall on defense, and Manning off the field on a 3 and out.
And that all comes from that pre-snap chess game where Peyton Manning doesn't have a sure read, and he has to throw the dump off. And that's one thing all the defenses want to do. Let him throw short. Don't let Marvin Harrison, Reggie Wayne, or Brandon Stokely get behind you and hit you for the big one.
Now Hunter Smith, who was awarded the AFC Special Teams Player of the Week award. 7 punts last week against Jacksonville, 46-yard average. He directly punts the ball either sideline oftentimes. This time he goes down the middle. And Northcutt has a gap, and Dennis Northcutt's on the run. Hunter Smith trying to make a play on him. He cannot. No penalty markers are down, and the Browns take it the distance on the return. And now there is a marker down.
On the far side of the field, way back. You could see this
46-yard punt, Steve, and an 82-yard return, but that slow walk back.
During the return, illegal blocking the back. Number 88 of the return team. That's a 10-yard penalty. It'll be 1st down.
And as great as that makes you feel as a return guy to do that, that's how bad it is to walk the long way back to your own end.
Breaking the action. Browns have it again deep in their own end. We're back. Indianapolis, Indiana, capital city of the Hoosier State. Browns with their 2nd possession. 82-yard punt return by Northcutt, called back on a blocking foul. Now the Browns go to the run and run it well. Reuben Drones cracks the left side of the Colts defense. Brackett brings him down after a gain of about 5.
A moment ago you saw the return, and as the play develops, you'll see right there as Frisman Jackson tried to hold up on the block, but since it was right at the point of attack, you're going to get the flag every time. Now, if you're 25 yards away on the other side of the field, they'll let that go. But right there, the returner's right there, the guy's going to make a play, you get the flag.
Now it is 2nd down and 5 for the Browns on their 25. Double tight ends. Our game. Rome hits ahead. Now it's 3rd and short. 3rd and 2 for the Browns. Green tries to hit on a counter, and Raheem Brock, 79, fills the gap quickly, along with Larry Triplett. So much quickness and speed in this Colt defense, giving up just 5 points a game through the first 2 weeks.
Yeah, Raheem Brock came down from his left defensive end and really stuffed that play in the hole. They're so quick, even down inside. The big guys on the defensive line move so well laterally. It's good in the run game, even better in the pass rush. These guys are really fast, and that was the key to him sliding down the line and making the play for no gain.
They fill the gap quickly. Now here is Richardson punting again for the Browns. Low punt could come back at the Browns. Takes a hop. Walters elects to let it roll. It rolls inside the 35-yard line and down to the 33. Manning and the Colts will see if they can move the ball when we come back. Back and set to go. Don Criqui with Steve Tasker. 1st and 10 for the Colts. No first downs either way in this game so far. Hand up, and here is Edger and James cutting back. James weaves his way upfield, crosses the 45. He's ahead for a gain of 13 yards and a first down. Orpheus Roy on the stop.
And that's a stretch play, and one of the ways you can tell it's a stretch play is when Peyton Manning hands off, he has to stretch to get there. Edger and James is headed toward the edge of the defense, and it's all Peyton Manning can do to catch him and actually get him the football. And that offensive line was right out front. What a great play on first down.
And the first down of the game for either side. Manning going with long counts. Right back to Edger and James. He has a problem. Manning comes up to look the block, and James is knocked down for a loss of 4 yards. Sean Thompson, 51, ran him down.
You know, you talk a lot about this Colt offense and the success that, or the lack of success, Peyton Manning has had against teams where Romeo Crennel was the defensive coordinator for the Patriots. A lot has been said about maybe Romeo Crennel has their number, and Peyton told us, I'll be worried about a defense when one of our offensive guys goes to our opponent and plays defense. That's the only way I worry. I don't worry about Romeo Crennel having my number.
Well, among the other things he's master at, Steve, is changing plays to the line of scrimmage. Peyton Manning. He also might be the best ball handler in the league. Here is a throw in the flat as Manning checks all the way down to a running back. And when everyone was covered downfield, Edger and James was there as a safety valve and ahead for a big gain and a first down to the 36-yard line of the Browns. Taylor and Russell were on the stop.
And that's the problem. Romeo Crennel's defense had Marvin Harrison double teamed. They also had Reggie Wayne double teamed. And the only guy left was Edger and James, and nobody teamed him up for a 20-yard gain.
So the Colts starting to move the ball on this, their second possession of a scoreless game. James. And Edger and James hits down inside the 30, close to the 27-yard line, a gain of almost 8. Baxter was on the tackle. The Browns' run defense ranks 28th in the NFL. It's been a problem. It's a problem right now.
Well, you're getting an idea now of what the plan is. You see as Tarek again gets out to the corner, leads Edger and James outside. That's the plan. The Colts are going to use Edger and James until he is absolutely exhausted.
2nd and 2. He's got a full tank still as James tries to cut back. And as Rand Carthon comes into the game, the young back who scored a touchdown last week. It was the decider in the game against Jacksonville. He had, of course, Mo Carthon, the offensive coordinator across the way for the Browns.
Yeah, they talk every week, and Rand told us his dad and he'd talk a lot, but this week the plan was they'll talk to each other, but don't talk to anybody else in the family. There's too much stress right now in the Carthon household for anybody to be cheering one way or the other.
He said his dad congratulated him on the touchdown. He said, don't do that next week. First down. Oaks at the 25-yard line. Play fake. Manning fires a strike. Down to the 5. The Colts at their very best. Ryan Fletcher coming off the flank. An absolute thing of beauty. The great pass offense of the Colts, which has been dormant the first 2 weeks. A masterpiece right there, as good as it gets.
And that's why Peyton Manning is so good. Great play fake. The running game is working. And the defense of the Browns has to respect it. They've been too effective in the run game not to jump in on the play fake. And then you hit your third tight end, Brian Fletcher, down the seam. That's how deep this Colt offense is.
And that after a 23-yard gain makes it 1st and goal. James. Trap blocking up front. Jeff Saturday, one of the best centers in football. Guy who pitches shutouts against nose tackles a lot of weeks across from. He just blew it open. And Edger and James is in the end zone with his first touchdown of the new season.
They ran right behind the center. That was as basic a football play as you can get. And you're right, Don. Jeff Saturday, the center of the Colts, is a guy that doesn't get much credit. But on that play, Edger and James followed him right into the end zone.
Well, Bill Polian, who runs the Colts, Said the guy is an absolute Pro Bowl player. He's never gotten the award yet. A free agent out of North Carolina in his 7th year. Extra point is up and good. And the Colts look good on their second possession, taking it right down the field for a 7-0 lead. We're back. Indianapolis, Indiana, and the Colts going 66 yards on 7 plays. Edgerrin James on the payoff end from in close on a straight ahead run, and now William Green runs the ball back for the Cleveland Browns on the kickoff to the 25-yard line, and the Browns need to get some offense going. They're without a first down so far. We'll see if Dilfer can get them jump started. Peyton Manning looking good on that last drive. He hit 4 of 4 passes for 53 yards so far in this game. Dilfer is 2 of 2 for 26 yards, but the Browns with very little offense other than that. Dilfer, sideline pass, makes a connection. Not much going on. Antonio Bryant with his 9th catch of the year.
And there, as we saw in the open, that's the wrist brace that Harrison has on his hand. Hasn't bothered him. He's made a catch already.
It looks like more than a minor problem the way that's being taped up. Here's Dilfer throwing a screen pass. Blockers in front. And then a hard hit put on as Lee Suggs, playing for the first time since early in the preseason.
You know, Don, we talked about the starts of the quarterbacks. Got look at these numbers of the quarterbacks, and you'd think, as this game takes place, 614 yards there and 376. Who do you think they are? And it's just the opposite of what you would think. Trent Dilfer off to the start that Peyton Manning is usually off to, although Manning looks to be on track here today. And that last play, as we see a player down on the field there.
Corey Simon's
Corey
down.
Simon.
Steve,
But that last play, a screen pass off to the far side. Dilfer finds his man, and it looked as though it was going to be a big play, and then all of a sudden all the Colt defenders started to run towards the ball, and they got there in a hurry, made it what looked like a huge play into an okay play, and it brings up 3rd down.
3rd down it is. 3rd and less than 2. Long one. Dilfer has yet to be sacked this season as a Cleveland Brown. Power set, double tight ends. Dilfer's big, he might keep it himself. He's going to throw, and throw well as he gets it to Antonio Bryant on a slant. Interesting play call and a good one. Carthon gambling a bit with the play call, but his players executed. Jason David on the stop. It's a first down for the Browns.
Well, this is a veteran quarterback. He's got a lot of faith in Antonio Bryant. You got to just go back and throw it. If you see him at all, if there's a crease at all, you got to turn it loose. And you see what a quarterback looks at, the back of his offensive line. You kind of catch the top of the receiver's helmet coming over, and you trust that he's going to be there. Great play.
Well, he was there. A gain of 7 on a 3rd and 1. To the run, up the middle. Ruben Drone, like a pinball wizard, is banged around, spins, and keeps on going all the way down to the 32-yard line before the very fast White Freeney ran him down. A 22-yard gain, though, Steve.
Well, one of the things that happens with this Colt defense is when teams scout them, the first thing they notice is, yeah, they're really fast, but they're also not very big. And if you want to negate that speed, how about just run right at it? Let them run out of the way instead of run to where you are. And that's what the Browns did on that play. Run right at the speed of the defense and make them be heavy in there as smaller guys.
Pitch back. Drones. Gets inside the 30 and down to the 29-yard line. Tackle on the play made by David Thornton. He's very undersized linebackers. Thornton at 230. Cato June on the right outside. He's 227. Brackett in the middle. I don't know what he is, Steve, but when you walk in the meeting room, it didn't look like a middle linebacker.
Yeah, we thought he was a safety, but these guys can run, and that's what happens. This is a great drive by the Browns against this Colt defense. They want to hang on to the football, make some first downs, keep Manning on the sidelines, and there's Maurice Carthon, who's calling the plays really for the first time in his career, and thus far this season he has done extremely well.
As the Browns try to answer that long touchdown drive, a 66-yard drive by the Colts. Dilfer up the middle. Dilfer, an experienced guy in his 12th year out of Fresno State. He was the #1 draft choice of the Tampa Bay Bucks when he came out. Spent 4 years there. And of course, he was the quarterback of the 2000 Baltimore Raven team that won the Super Bowl, and they were so impressed with his performance they caught him in the offseason.
That's right, yeah, but Tony Dungy was his head coach in Tampa as well, and it was very complimentary of him this week when we spoke to him. But Trent Dilfer said he didn't like me enough to exercise the option on my contract, and here I am in Cleveland.
Well, Dungy did say everywhere he's been, Tampa Bay, Seattle, here, he's a winning player. He said he'll win with the Browns. As the Browns go up the middle, and Brackett, the middle backer, makes the stop. Winding down to the end of the quarter. Tony Dungy, with a tremendous one-loss record as head coach of the Colts, will return to the RCA Dome after these messages. You're watching the NFL on CBS. Romeo Crennel, when they presented him with a game ball after the win, his first as an NFL head coach last week at Green Bay, he handed it right back, saying this is a team win, game ball for the team.
Yeah, to a man, the Browns really love this guy. They have really bought into his system. When he comes over with all those Super Bowl rings, it really buys credibility with a lot of players, including veteran players.
And that revamped offensive line continues to protect the quarterback so well. No sacks allowed this season. There's a guy that can sack some people. He had 16 last year, #1 in the NFL, Dwight Freeney.
It's crucial now for the Browns. They have got to stay in this drive and come away with a touchdown here to keep pace with the Colts. You don't want to drop down by a score in this building.
They go up the middle, and the Colts again move quickly. Cato June, 59, was on the stop.
You'll see here trying to spread it out, then handing it off on the draw. And the Colt defense, once they recognize something and start to run to it, it's really difficult to be successful because they cover so much ground so quickly.
Dilfer, Steve, has now completed all 6 of his pass attempts for 53 yards, and he's hit 5 different receivers. 2nd and 9 Browns. Swing pass. The ball is sent out to Elise Suggs. They're very delighted to have him back, a very good player who missed the first 2 games with an ankle injury in most of the preseason. Nick Harper stops him. The game plan the Colt defenders were looking for was a lot of runs from Cleveland combined with a lot of short passes.
That's right, and we talked to Trent Dilfer this week, and we said, you know, what's the problem when you get down close with this defense? He says the Colts are so fast when the field gets small, they cover everything.
Dilfer dropping on 3rd and 7. Here comes the heat. He goes down, and a marker goes down also. Dwight Freeney.
Yeah, Dwight Freeney got horse-collared by L.J. Shelton on the outside.
Good way to stop him. He's a tremendous speed rusher. I mean, against one of the best tackles ever, Jonathan Ogden, ran by him opening night like he's a statue.
Number 70 of the offense.
Baltimore.
That penalty is declined. 4th down.
There's no question about it. It's going to bring up the field goal attempt by the Browns. Right there, you'll watch. Freeney's going to take the hard inside. He just grabs him and pulls him down from behind, trying to save Trent Dilfer. But there goes that streak. That's the first sack that the Browns have allowed.
Phil Dawson out to attempt the field goal, a 40-yarder. He had an extra point blocked last week at Green Bay, so there's some concern. Now the snap, hold, and kick. Snap and hold are good. So is the kick. And the Browns are on the board with 13-13 to play in the first half on a 40-yard field goal by Phil Dawson. We'll kick off when we come back. We're back to Indianapolis, where the Browns just got a 40-yard field goal by Dawson. The Browns allowing their first sack of this season. It came on the 82nd pass attempt. As you see, going 53 yards in 11 plays. Dilfer throwing the ball well, albeit short. 7 of 7 for 55 yards in the game. Here comes Ran Carthon returning the kickoff for the Colts. Carthon out of Florida rockets ahead to the 25-yard line. And there Peyton Manning and the Colts offense comes back out. We'll see if they can drive the ball down the field like they did the last time for the opening score of the game. Peyton Manning And Marvin Harrison need only 14 yards to pass your former teammate Steve, Jim Kelly, and Andre Reed for the most passing yards by QB wide receiver tandem. Play fake. Manning looking long. There goes the long ball. Good coverage by the Browns. And Galen McCutcheon fields it in center field with an interception. Tremendous defensive play by the Browns. They had 3 guys converging on the receiver, Marvin Harrison. And the Browns get the ball back.
And I'll tell you what, Don, I don't know why Peyton threw this football. There's 3 guys standing in a circle around Marvin Harrison when this ball gets there. You see there's McCutcheon. Nope. There's 3 guys there. You don't think they're paying attention to Marvin Harrison? The whole defensive backfield standing in his hip pocket. Peyton throws it up for grabs and asks him to make a play, and I think that's asking a lot.
A pass has not hit the field yet today. Combined, the 2 quarterbacks are 11 of 11, and then the one that just was intercepted.
There hasn't been an incompletion yet.
No.
Although there's been one, I guess, right there that Peyton Manning wishes he had back. Yeah.
Browns looking to capitalize on the first turnover of the game. They go to the power run. Ruben Drones gets the call. Monte Rager makes the stop.
As the defenders out on the field for the Colts running on and off, kick the football off the spot. It resets the play clock. You see there, that's what Cleveland needs to do. Hang on to the football, get a lot of first down. Exactly what we said in the game points before kickoff.
But as Tony Dungy told us, Steve, Tony, he's a patient man, and he will wait and wait. He doesn't think he can go the long field against his defense. He'll keep his plays in front of him, his defenders will, and try to make him run multiple plays. But that was good for a 19-yard gain.
And it got a penalty, too. Another penalty on Antonio Bryant for taunting. He threw the ball and dropped it right in the face of Sanders. Excuse me, Nick Harper. And you can't do that. That's, you know, the league comes in and tells these guys what they can and cannot do. They show them video clips of it. You can't throw the football or get in the face of a defender or receiver after a play.
After the play is over. Unsportsmanlike conduct. Number 81 of the offense. Taunting. That's a 15-yard penalty. The result of the play was a first down, so it will still be 1st and 10.
I'll tell you what, Trent Dilfer throws a strike. You see Bob Sanders gets in his face. He throws the ball. See that little toss into his face and the stare down? You can't do that.
Not hardly an indictable offense, though, is it?
I guess so.
Well, it brings the ball all the way back. Now we've had 2 taunting penalties called on Browns receivers after big plays. First on Braylon Edwards, the rookie, and now on Antonio Bryant. Both of those players, Bryant and Edwards, were Biletnikoff winners in college. Number 1 receiver in the country.
You got to expect more discipline at this level.
That really hurt. Here they go, 1st and 10 from inside their 35. And the Colts don't give up much. Browns trying hard to run on a defense that's been allowing 4.6 yards a rush as Indianapolis. Not today, though.
You see there Romeo Crennel giving Antonio O'Brien a little earful as he sends him back into the game. Sat him down for one play and had something to say to him. You know, that stuff doesn't fly. I mean, you're a team that's trying to get better as the Cleveland Browns, and you got guys pulling stuff like that. Your margin of error isn't big enough to overcome things like that.
Did you ever taunt?
Not so as anybody would notice. It's an art form, I will admit.
And ventriloquist thing. Here is the pitch back. And moving with the ball is Ruben Drones, a 5'11", 220-pound running back out of Oregon. Another penalty marker down, Steve. Tackled by Bob Sanders. This Bob Sanders will knock you out.
That was a big thing in the preseason for the Colts.
Offside defense, number 91. In the neutral
down.
zone at the snap. That's a 5-yard penalty. It's still second down.
He didn't get enough.
Yep. Josh Thomas on the penalty, but in the preseason, Tony Dungy had said that he needed his defensive backfield to be much more physical than it's been in the past. He felt that was one characteristic that this defense lacked, and they have done it. I mean, the guys they've got in there, Bob Sanders, usually Joseph Jefferson. Today it's Mike Doss, but Jason David, Nick Harper, these guys really have begun to play more physical, and it's helped.
Ball is slapped down. Corey Simon, who was, I think, the 6th player drafted in the first round 6 years ago out of Florida State by the Eagles. They were very unhappy with his weight. He came in, I don't know what he was, but it was big, and he still.
Well, this defense has been undersized, and then they got Corey Simon, and he doesn't fit that description. He is not undersized. good player, and he's given them some help on the inside tackle, inside defensive tackle in the run game. Been a little bit more of a stone wall and a tree root down there.
Well, he's a guy that a high draft choice like that, a high number 1, and they got him off the waiver wire. Eagles got fed up and they caught him. Dilfer throwing on the run. Beautifully done by Dilfer, who has a strong arm, and he threw very well on the run last week at Green Bay. He hits Antonio Bryant in stride for a 6-yard gain and a first down.
You know, and this is something that the Cleveland Browns have not been able to do in past years. Get that 3rd and short, get that 3rd and 5, and Trent Dilfer really is the difference. He has confidence. He's throwing the football in the right place. And look at these two quarterbacks. Not something you would expect from Trent Dilfer per se, but I'll say Peyton Manning is living up to expectations after a slow start, and Dilfer continuing on with a great year at this early stage.
Dilfer has known great moments, quarterbacking a Super Bowl winner at Baltimore. He went to the Pro Bowl as a Tampa Bay Buck in '97, and now that quick defense led by Mike Doss, a former Buckeye from Ohio State. Another major league hitter, number 20, Doss, makes the stop. And the Browns have to go to a long yardage play.
Well, this has been a problem with the Browns. This is their rushing ranks in the last few years. For the last 5 years, that's not good. They just can't get anything done on the ground. That last play was an indication of that. They are getting better. That offensive line is starting to work better, but they still need to be more effective in the run game.
Second down. They need 11. Dilfer, nice fastball is whipped into Braylon Edwards, who was the number 3 overall pick in the last draft. He caught 3 for 107 yards at Green Bay, 1 for an 80-yard touchdown where he ran away from everybody. That was for good for 10.
And you see him there. Braylon Edwards is a young guy, but he is not small. He is a big target, and he has a lot of confidence for a young receiver. And right now, Trent Dilfer, I think it says a lot on a crucial down like that. He's going to find him and get the ball right to him.
It does. Oh, he's a good-looking player. He's a hands catcher. Carthon calling the plays. Short yardage play now. 3rd down and 1 for the Browns. With a run. Play fake. And Dilfer sacked by Freeney. Couple of defenders went for the running back, but not Dwight Freeney. 2nd sack of the day for Freeney. Actually, he was credited with half a sack on the first one along with Raheem Brock. But he gets him again.
L.J. Shelton was looking for a little help from Andruzzi, and Andruzzi was late getting out to help Shelton, and Freeney just outran. You watch here, there's Shelton gets beat, and Andruzzi's trying to catch up and can't get there. Freeney is just too fast, Don.
Well, he says, I'll do backflip, cartwheels, whatever it takes to get to the quarterback, and nobody does it better. Troy Walters, fair catching the ball for the Colts, back of the 13-yard line, a 41-yard punt and no return. Now the Colts, with their lead, will have the ball when we come back. That's Dwight Freeney. You will lose your breath chasing people like he does. And now the Colts with the lead. 1st and 10. Edger and James. Steve, I asked Tom Moore what makes him so good. He said, above everything else, vision. He sees everything. 2nd down, a long 3. There was a 7-yard gain on the last play. Manning, timing throw. He hit Reggie Wayne, and the ball is off his fingertips. Is there a marker coming in? There is.
Yeah, I don't know. That ball was in the air so fast. The receiver and the defensive back, that's Brian Russell out there, were still wrapped up with each other when the ball was in the air.
We're referring to Tom Moore, the offensive coordinator.
Pass interference, defense, number 24. That ball will be placed at the spot of the foul, automatic first down.
And that's Gary Baxter, and you'll see here, watch, as Wayne comes out, and the ball's already in the air. You see how fast the ball got there. And I don't know, that's a tough call for me, because even as a receiver, he initiated the contact.
But it is a first down for the Colts. James, he looks for the hole. He finds something and moves the ball ahead for plus yards when it seemed everything was hemmed off. A gain of about 3 yards on the play. 2nd down and 7. Tackler was Chris Crocker, 25.
Well, you see, this is Edgerrin James so far, and he is going to carry the load for this team, Don. He's going to go to the outside, and you said it, his vision is unmatched. He sees everything. He can break tackles right up into, he can run between the tackles, he can run outside, and they're going to use him like the workhorse because these teams will not let Peyton Manning get deep on them. He's going to have to rely on Edgerrin James to carry this offense.
Browns are playing that 2-deep zone with the safeties way back. Manning, a flat throw, beautifully done. This is Reggie Wayne on the run. He's fast. Wayne looking to beat one man. McCutcheon trying to hem him in. He does, and Wayne goes out of bounds. But it is a huge gain down inside the 25-yard line. A 51-yard gain on the play. Reggie Wayne.
When you talk about big plays in the passing game, Peyton Manning threw an interception trying to go deep. This is a better way to do it. When a team's going to give you the short pass, give it to a guy who's on a dead run and let him turn it into a big play.
Now back to live action, and not much going on for Edgerrin James as he tries to go wide to the near side. A quick snap. Orpheus Roy was on the tackle. Manning off to a good start. He's hit 5 of 6 passes for 104 yards. He has been intercepted once in that long ball over the middle. It was picked off by McCutcheon.
And Peyton Manning getting them lined up. They're not going to huddle up, and it's important, especially when you get a big play like that. Go ahead and go no huddle. It really affects the attitude of the defense. They're on their heels mentally right now after that big play.
It is not, as you mentioned, a hurry-up offense. It's a no-huddle offense. Keeps defensive packages changing. Edgerrin James trying to work wide, and Andre Davis, linebacker out of Florida, who was credited with 20 tackles last week at Green Bay, stops him for a 3-yard gain.
And we talk about the no huddle. It is not a hurry up. They don't gather up into a huddle. They just line up. Peyton Manning calls a couple of plays. He'll either call run or pass. That's the beauty of this offense. Peyton Manning will get them into the best play. They rarely take a bad play because Manning calls the plays at the line of scrimmage. That's what this no huddle is so good at.
And he told us he has the option of checking out of any play. He really is a coach on the field.
No question. And Tom Moore will tell you, I mean, it's Peyton Manning's offense, no question.
On 3rd and 7, a big pass block there by Dean, and here's a throw. And diving down to the 10-yard line is Brandon Stokely. His 10th catch of the year is good for 10 yards and a Colts first down.
We spoke to Brandon Stokely on Friday, and he, in his slightly Cajun accent, told us, he goes, the difference in this offense is the quarterback. Peyton Manning gets us into plays that work. We rarely get a bad look from the defense. There's no question. Everybody on this offense knows it all starts with number 18, and they all benefit because of it. And Brandon Stokely is a perfect example of that.
Well, he caught a pass from Dilfer to open the scoring in the 2000 Super Bowl. The Ravens beat the Giants, and here is a handoff, and then Edgerrin James trying to cut back is down to about the 8-yard line. Roy and Fisk were on the stop. Colts offense, though, up to speed today, Steve.
Yeah, it's been interesting. They've gotten off to a good start. They're 2-0, but it's been their defense that has allowed Peyton Manning and Marvin Harrison to fail and still be 2-0. They've had time to be patient, not get panicked by their lack of offensive production. And now today, it looks like they're back on track.
Colts 2-0, one of 7 NFL teams 2-0 after the first 2 weeks of the season as they go to the run to James. And over the past 15 years, teams that start 2-0 go to the playoffs just about 65% of the time. Russell on the tackle.
Yeah, it's not a higher percentage because teams that start 0-2 have a hard time getting to the playoffs.
14%.
That's right. It's easier to fall on your face after a good start than it is to come back from a bad start. And there's Carthon, who ran the touchdown in last week in this same spot, same end of the field against Jacksonville.
James has today's only touchdown. Late fake. Manning looks, stops the ball, and it's tipped away from the tight end. Dallas Clark, the sure-handed tight end from Iowa. Ben Taylor covering nicely, got back and tipped it away.
Ben Taylor was covering the short receiver and then turned and came back and got in Dallas Clark's vision. You see there, he really didn't know if he touched it, but he got in Dallas Clark's eyes and he couldn't catch the football. Great play, great heads-up play by Taylor.
So the Colts drive stalls, and Vanderjagt comes out to try the field goal. Guy who holds an NFL record, 41 consecutive field goals he made during one stretch of his career. He drives it through from 21 yards out. And the Colts build their lead. They now extend to a 10-3 advantage, and they'll kick off when we come back to Indianapolis. There's Romeo Crennel doing some coaching on the sideline, showing a move to Alvin McKinley. Vanderjagt, who just hit the field goal, now ready to kick off to the Browns as they drop back deep. William Green and Lee Suggs. Vanderjagt, a high spinning kick. Green comes up on it from the 13 and gets it out close to the 25-yard line. But Keith O'Neill makes the stop. Back to Indianapolis after this. First down. Dilfer, who's thrown for high percentage, 10 of 11, but hasn't been close to the end zone. Here's a penalty marker down as he makes a connection out to the 33-yard line. Coming down with the ball is a former quarterback at Western Illinois, Frisman Jackson. 9-yard gain, but let's see what the penalty is here, Steve.
Penalties have been a factor for the Browns.
Illegal formation. Offense.
Wow.
The wide receiver covered up the tight end on the line.
And I'll tell you what, Don.
That's a 5-yard penalty. It'll still be first down.
Every year we'd sit down with the officials in the preseason. They tell us what they look for, and they always told us you really had to be in a bad formation for them to call you an illegal formation. I mean, it had to be obvious.
No, they did.
Because they were looking for, even if you're behind them by a blade of grass, they'll let it slide. And I can't believe they didn't warn them first before calling that penalty, but it did. And Maurice Carthon's got his work cut out for him. 1st and 15 now inside their 20.
Here come the speed rushers, and they go to a draw to counter it, and Reuben Drones does well. Hanging out across the 25-yard line for a gain of about 7 on the play. Tackled by Cato June. We talked with Romeo Crennel yesterday. It's interesting, Steve. He said at least twice, maybe 3 times, when you're building a football team, everyone wants it to happen overnight. Yeah. It doesn't happen overnight.
No, but he does. He's a Bill Parcells, Bill Belichick disciple, and the first thing he did was bring in some veterans who knew how to win. They're not going to panic in a game like this when they're down by 1 touchdown on the road. Guys like Trent Dilfer, guys like Joe Andruzzi, guys like Cozy Coleman, these guys offensively have been around the block. They know what it takes to win on the road.
Well, he's got a lot of Super Bowl experience, as we pointed out at the outset, in that offensive line. Andruzzi, part of 3 Super Bowl winners at New England. See if Dilfer can get the Browns moving when we come back. Don Criqui with Steve Tasker back at the sold-out RCA Dome, Indianapolis. 2nd down coming up. Browns need 7. They go to a draw. And Drones is taken down quickly by safety Bob Sanders. We'll be going to Greg Gumbel in New York for the Sprint halftime report. Update on week 3 of the NFL season. Mentioned only 7 teams at 32, off to 2-0 starts. Like the Colts. Dilfer, he's in trouble. No sacks coming in. They've gotten him 3 times in the first half. This was Robert Mathis, another speed rusher who had 10.5 sacks last season.
And now the Colts will take a quick timeout to conserve time. And you'll see here off the far side of the top of your screen, gets around Ryan Tucker and then knifes inside. Both sacks, or 2 of the sacks today, have been on inside moves on the outside. A very smart timeout, Don, by Tony Dungy, and the Colts saved about 40 seconds. They have 1.5 minutes with 2 timeouts remaining here inside the 2-minute warning of the first half. Plenty of time for an offense the caliber of the Colts to go down and get some points and add to their lead.
Defense, again, a big factor for Dungy's Colts. He told us they're playing with the most confidence, his defense, since he's been here. This is his 4th year. Troy Walters backpedaling. Number 24. Trying to go wide. He does. And Walters advances the ball to the 36-yard line. A 54-yard punt. And then a 12-yard return.
And a train wreck at the end.
And he got hit hard by Sean Jones.
And that's one thing you really hesitate to do if you're the Cleveland Browns. You're really sad to see Peyton Manning come in outside his own 35-yard line. You look up, 1:18 doesn't seem like much. It's a lifetime to an offense that is as well schooled as the Indianapolis Colts. Peyton Manning is a master in this situation, and their offense, their basic offense, is built for this situation.
And he's a hard guy to get to with a pass rush. Last season, the 04 season, he was sacked a total of 13 times. Low total in the NFL by far. Part of it, he gets rid of the ball quickly. Here's a throw in the flat. Off the tight end. Makes the catch. A guy who's at best in traffic and able to stretch downfield with his good speed. A 7-yard gain.
And this is the thing right now with 2 timeouts left. Peyton Manning could even run the football to Edgerrin James if he wanted. They have all kinds of time to do whatever they want, and this is a real problem for the Browns because they know the offense has their whole playbook to work from. The clock isn't a factor just yet.
Browns have forced 1 interception of Manning. Here's a throw, and Ray Mickens puts the heat on Marvin Harrison. Mickens, one of the 12 free agents that Phil Savage, who now runs the personnel for the Browns, signed.
You'll rarely see Marvin Harrison shy away from a catch, but he does that right there. He ducks that shoulder knowing that if he tries to catch it, he's going to get hurt. You rarely see that from a Hall of Famer.
Now 3rd down and 2 for Manning. See 109 left to play in the half. From the shotgun. Lobs the ball beautifully over the middle against Dallas Clark. And now are they waving it off? They are. No catch. Lost the ball. Manning's not happy about it. It was right in his hands.
Yes, it was a catch right over the middle, and this is what you can do. He has plenty of time. He can work the middle of the field, and the ball comes out, and that's a good call. That is an incomplete pass. He never tucked it away, and Peyton is frustrated because he knows that's a huge opportunity that got away, and now they're going to have to give the football back to the Browns.
And Hunter, the punter, 7-year veteran out of Notre Dame, ready to hit the ball, hits it high. The Browns will have some time to work with. Fair catching the ball back at the 8-yard line. At halftime, scores and stories from Greg Gumbel and company from New York. That was a 46-yard punt and no return.
And that lets you know how efficient Peyton Manning was. They had 1:18 when they got the ball, and they're giving it back with 53 seconds. And you got to really credit the Cleveland defense for knocking the ball loose, making Marvin Harrison shy away from a catch, keeping the Colts out of their own end.
Well, Manning and the Colts, the stars, are aligned for them if they can get home field in the AFC playoffs. No dome team has ever won a Super Bowl outdoors. But if they should get home field and win twice here, they go on to a dome in Detroit for Super Bowl 40. Here is a handoff, and Crones goes hard. Cutback runner. They call him a downhill runner with a lot of pop in his stride. Bob Sanders, the safety from Illinois, or from Iowa, makes the stop on him.
Now, one of the thoughts here is why don't they go for it? Well, they're too far in their own end. One mistake down here, and it turns into at least 3 points for the Colts. They're going to run the football and maybe throw a very short pass.
Beautifully done, and on the run is Frisman Jackson. He's ahead for a first down outside, almost to the 35-yard line. Still 19 seconds left.
Excuse me, shows you what I know. Nice pass up the seam by Dilfer, gives him a chance.
Dilfer's 11 of 12 throwing the ball for 114 yards, with the Browns with only 3 points. Dawson hoping to get a long field goal attempt. Dilfer told us against the Colts it needs to be a very physical game. He called it a fist fight without real fisticuffs. Make it a game they don't want to play in. Here's a dump pass over the middle, and Reuben Drone still works ahead and dives across the 45-yard line with just 13 seconds left. A gain of 11 yards. Still out of field goal range. They've got time, maybe with a sideline pattern, to set themselves up for a long try. We'll find out in a moment. We're back to live action with just 13 seconds to play in the half. Dilfer stands in. Sideline pattern. Jackson working hard to try to get to the out-of-bounds line. He cannot. Stopped by Marlon Jackson.
Now with 7 seconds left, that just about does it, Don. They're going to have to throw one for the end zone.
And we'll find out. Dilfer does have a long ball arm. He can throw deep, and he'll have to. Browns now out of timeouts. 7 seconds to play in the first half.
They can either throw this deep and go for the touchdown, or try to get a pass down the seam, have the receiver catch it, go to a knee, and call a quick timeout.
The had no timeouts. Here is a flat pass, and they get it out of bounds to the rookie Braylon Edwards with 2 seconds left, but this will be a
60-yarder. I mean, that's not going to be enough. It's not going to be enough to get the field goal, but they could attempt now to throw it into the end zone.
Indianapolis.
See, Phil Dawson's a good long-range kicker, but this is long range. Tony Dungy, they talk about being a patient man. He doesn't think opposing offenses can go the long field in multiple plays against his defense. And so far, that's proven true today. The Browns have they've gotten a lot of plays that have worked. 14 of 15 throwing the ball as Dilfer, but not close to a touchdown.
And you see there's Romeo Crennel talking to Trent Dilfer, talking about the strategy they're going to use here. And this, we talked to Romeo. He said, one thing I've noticed about head coaching, I don't get to coach much.
Yeah.
I get a lot of paperwork and a lot of policies to make, particularly in the situation he came to in Cleveland. You get to coach him first thing in the morning, and then it's maybe game day I get to say a few things to him.
He says at the morning meeting, that's when he really does his coaching with the guys. He addresses them every morning, as all head coaches do.
Well, we've seen him throughout the first half of this game getting a moment with each one or two of his players, telling them what's going on. But right here, the ball is back to the 49-yard line now.
So it's got to be what you were talking about, Steve, that long ball to the end zone.
Look for Dilfer maybe to roll to this side of the field to give himself a better angle.
Here comes Freeney. Man alive, he's fast.
That's it.
Bang, he gets him again. Ball's on the field. And the play is finally whistled at as time runs out. So an exciting ending as Freeney gets his third. It actually
that was a quick whistle. That ball was still
2
alive.
minutes. Only the fumbling player can recover and advance the ball. Once the offensive player, other than a quarterback, got the ball, the play is over. That is the halftime.
That's the rule, because on fourth down or at the end of the quarter, only the player, as Triplett said, only Trent Dilfer could have picked that ball up and advanced it. Once the receiver picked it up, the ball was dead, and it was still Cleveland's ball, but the half is over.
That's the end of the half. Indianapolis 10, Cleveland 3. We'll be back with the Sprint halftime report after this message from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS. He gets down near the goal line. I talked to guys from both teams at halftime here, Steve, and they both said it's a game of a lot of runs, a lot of short passes. They're both trying to keep the other offense in front of them.
Yeah, and it's really working the way Cleveland wanted it to work. They wanted to come in, hang on to the football. They've got an edge in time of possession, get a lot of first downs. Trent Dilfer's having a great day, although the scoreboard doesn't show it. This game is exactly what Cleveland wants. They want to stay close and maybe get a chance to steal this game on the road at the end.
What the Browns need is another turnover. They did intercept Manning once. McCutcheon got that. I don't know if the Browns can beat them if there's no more turnovers by the Colts.
Certainly their margin of error is slimmer on the road, and they've got to overcome a couple of things. One, they've got to keep the football away from Peyton Manning, either with turnovers or with some other way. And then the other thing is they got to cut down on the penalties. That's really been a crippler thus far.
Now let's check the fantasy notebook. See how your guys are doing today. Hey, Dilfer's completing a lot of passes.
Yeah, he's having a great day. That's exactly what he wanted to do. Manning, those last few incompletions really happened on that 2-minute drill. And then Drones having a good day. Edgerrin James has been a force. You can look for Edgerrin James to get the ball about 20 times in this second half, and they're the receivers. Harrison held to just 2 catches, Wayne to 1. Antonio Bryan and Frisman Jackson really having a good day, and that's a result of that guy right there, Trent Dilfer.
And here is Phil Dawson ready to kick it off to start the second half.
I think the key for both these clubs, Don, they've got to stay patient, wait for the opportunities to come to them, and don't make mistakes.
And Carthon with a good change of pace move, gets ahead and advances the ball close to the 25-yard line.
You talk about the problems. I mean, Peyton Manning's only got Edgerrin James and Rand Carthon. As you don't think about the special teams, Rand Carthon's the only guy that can return kicks. All their guys, like Dominic Rhodes and James Monroe, lost some help on special teams, and they're struggling in their field position in their return game because of it.
Now the Colts come out in the first half. Manning doing a good job managing the game. He did try the one over the top throw down the middle that McCutcheon picked off. He's made some great throws on slant patterns, like the one that set up the only touchdown on the run by James. As he hit Brian Fletcher, a little used tight end. Back to the run. Alvin McKinley makes the stop for the Browns.
You talk about Peyton Manning. These are the things that have happened to him against Romeo Crennel defenses. And this includes the playoffs as well. It's only 257 yards a game, but this is the number right there. The 10 interceptions is the problem. And also that 0-6 record kind of tends to stand out, particularly on a resume like Peyton Manning's.
Well, they're waiting to get another shot at the New England Patriots. 0-6 is Manning against the Pats. Here's a throw to Fletcher. Ryan Fletcher, a first-year tight end, a backup from UCLA, caught a terrific slant pattern right down near the goal line. He advanced it, a 23-yard play. And soon after, Edgerrin James was in the end zone with the only touchdown of this day.
As Peyton Manning spreading the football around, a guy like Fletcher is a big target, 6'5", out of UCLA, as you said, but he's one of those guys. You come out and you watch the Indianapolis Colts, they got like 10 guys who come out and do an entire routine before in the pregame. Manning, of course, and Marvin Harrison being one of them, but I think that whole culture is taking over even for the young guys. Fletcher out catching passes early as well.
Yeah, Fletcher, he really looked good. Here is Manning with a quick throw. That's his tight end on a 3rd down and long 4 play, and he gets Dallas Clark for a 7-yard gain and a 1st down.
And this is where it becomes evident that this is going to be a different year for the Indianapolis Colts than a year ago. Peyton Manning thrown for 49 touchdowns. Nobody in the league wants to be the guys who give up 5 touchdown passes to Peyton Manning. So they back up, make him throw short, and come up and make the tackle. It's going to be a theme all year. It's going to be a question as to whether Peyton Manning can stay patient.
Well, Peyton Manning is a master at his craft. Talking to Tom Moore, his offensive coordinator, right before the game, I said, what makes him good? He said, well, he started good. And then he never stops working to get better. He loves football. He's been in the game his whole life.
And let's face it, this is a guy in his prime. He's going to head to the Hall of Fame, and he wants to win more than ever. You talk about pressure on an organization. This is a team that's been close so much, and they've had such a great offense. Nobody puts more pressure on this Colts offense than Peyton Manning and Marvin Harrison.
No sooner said than does Peyton Manning throw a nice timing throw on a slant pattern. And Harrison, ailing wrist and all, is ahead for a 9-yard gain and yet another Colt 1st down.
I think it just looks so different this year than last because of the things this Colt offense is being forced to do. It's just one play, 5 yards here, 3 yards there, 7 yards there. We had one big play in the first half, and that was on a short throw and a long run as well. Completely different look this year.
Here is a give up the middle to Edgerrin James, who came in accounting for almost 50% of the Colts offensive yards in the first 2 games. And he's not backing off from that position, those numbers, as he continues to hammer away. He's run 14 times for 55 yards.
You see there 9 more, and he reaches 8,000 for his career, and what a career it has been here in Indianapolis. His franchise making over $8 million this year as the guy who they designated, you're not going anywhere, you're staying right here, even though his contract came to an end.
Manning checking down again and finds Edgerrin James, and on a 2nd down and 5 play, he's ahead for a 1st down. 10-yard gain on the play. Andre Davis and McCutcheon make the stop, but now Manning and the offense seem to be up to speed.
Well, it doesn't look like it used to, but goodness gracious, how efficient are they? 5 yards a pop. Peyton Manning looking all over the field, dumping it off to a guy who is as good as anybody in the National Football League. I mean, this offense going no huddle, it keeps the pace up, and yet they're so efficient, they just grind out the yards. And as good as they look, this is exactly what Cleveland wants them to do.
Manning will not detail just what goes on with all that faking and pointing. A lot of it is bogus. It's just trying to confuse people, but it works. The whole system. Reggie Wayne turns out, and Manning is right on his hands with a 15-yard throw and another 1st down. So the Colts come out absolutely vintage Colt offense. Everything's working.
Well, this no huddle is really at its best when it can make 1st downs. I mean, Peyton Manning, every no huddle offense is crucial that you stay on the football field. Because you go no huddle, you can come on and off in a hurry if you go 1, 2, 3 and out. But once you start making 1st downs, the defense begins to wilt.
Defense has been out there the whole 2nd half so far. This drive approaching 5 minutes in duration. Manning has hit all 5 of his throws on this drive. James turns the corner and dives inside the 15-yard line. Taken down by Andre Davis, but there's a gain of 9 yards on the play.
Andre Davis gets Edgerrin James. Watch there, he can't get him in the backfield and has to chase him down from behind. Finally, Andre Davis having trouble getting to the outside as fast as Edgerrin James. That's that stretch play that they ran in the first half, and there you see it. 8,000 yards for his career, and you can bet sometime or other that ball is going to end up on his mantle.
Brandon Stokely had a terrific block on that play. Now this time the run of James is shut down. Last week Edgerrin James got a lot of work also. 27 carries for 128 yards against Jacksonville.
You see there he held up the number 1. He's give me one more play before Rand Carthon will come in and give him a break.
16 rushing plays today. 16 passes. James has carried 16 times for 65 yards. Edgerrin James left, right, and up the middle. He's the game plan right now as the Colts methodically move the ball down and challenge for the second touchdown of the day.
And there is one play, and he'll come right off, and Rand Carthon will come on down in the red zone. And this is just a grinding offense. I mean, you see there he comes off, gives Rand Carthon a chance to come in. And I don't think there's any resentment because he's the guy that calls for the substitution. It wasn't anybody. It wasn't the coaching staff. He decides when he comes out in this situation.
Two drafting masterpieces ready to define the future of this team. Bill Polian and the Colts picked Manning over Ryan Leaf, and they picked Edgerrin James over Ricky Williams.
No, you want to talk about getting it right. Bill Polian did, and the results are evident in this offense.
Now here's where Manning is especially dangerous. Short field to go, second down, a third down and 2 arising.
Already halfway through the fourth quarter, and this is the opening drive for Peyton Manning.
Good point to everybody out there now.
Yeah.
I guess the defense thinking, where's he going with this?
Well, the field closes down. There's not as much room in this area of the field. As he sees something, he'll step up and now going to go under center.
He can throw fast, though, over the middle on these slant routes. Brandon Stokely's in the slot left. He goes to the run, and the Browns are there to defend it. Nick Eason, 98, makes the stop. So the Colts drive down the field beautifully, a drive that took almost half the third quarter, and then it stalls, and they'll send out their field goal kicker, Vanderjagt.
You got to think Cleveland keeping it close like this keeps the Indianapolis Colts from scoring the touchdown, but what is not in their plan is actually having the Colts run a multiple play drive and hang on to it and never make a mistake, and that's what you run into with Peyton Manning. He just doesn't make mistakes.
And neither does Vanderjagt as he drives through a 23-yard field goal. So the Colts looking to go to 3-0 in the year, build a 10-point lead. The Colts with Edgerrin James getting a lot of carries, 17 for 70 yards, drive down the field.
That's a championship drive right there. 14 plays, 70 yards, and over almost 8 minutes off the clock.
Dave Rayner with the kickoff. William Green with the return for the Browns. Henry Marker is down. There comes another. Probably a blocking foul on the Browns' return.
And there you see,
they say 21.
Jeff Triplett in the holding signal.
During the return, holding number 21 of the return team.
Rodney Poole,
half the distance to the goal.
rookie
It'll
from Oklahoma.
Down.
So the Browns are set back as Manning and the Colts have built a 10-point lead. We're back to the RCA Dome. The Colts with a 13-3 lead, a 7.5-minute drive to open the second half, resulting in a field goal from 23 yards out. And now the Browns down by 10, Steve, and they're going to need to try to hit that long ball like they did to Braylon Edwards at Green Bay last week.
And one thing here, Cleveland goes with a heavy package, a lot of tight ends, a lot of heavy guys, and the Colts take Dwight Freeney out of the game and throw in Josh Thomas, a little bigger body, to handle the run game, the power game.
Browns go big as they call it. Here's a throw in the flat. And Antonio Bryant with a catch along the sideline. Not a lot of yards, but he did get 8.
Well, coming in, the Browns had not allowed a sack in 2 games, but with the speed of the Colt defense, you knew it was just a matter of time. And of course, with Dwight Freeney and also Robert Mathis, Larry Triplett, Raheem Brock, everybody getting into the act, it's just the speed that really puts this defense on another level.
Last week against Jacksonville, the Colts defenders had 6 sacks and they had 10 quarterback pressures. They sometimes are even better because they're throwing interception. Larry Triplett, a much improved Indianapolis Colt, lost about 35 or 40 pounds in the offseason, picked up speed, didn't lose strength, and he's been a very valuable defensive tackle.
And you look at the focus of this Colt team, it has been on the defense. You look at their draft class, 5 of their 6 draftees were defenders.
They finally drafted for defense. Triplett says of Freeney, if you ever met him and knew him off the field, you'd never believe he was as aggressive as he is on the field. Very laid back. Parents are from Jamaica. He said he's on island time all the time.
Yeah, he's a flip-flop and t-shirt guy. I mean, he is.
But as Freeney said, Steve, he'll do backflips, cartwheels, whatever it takes.
And
to
you
get
can
to the
see
QB.
He plays with a huge amount of energy, and the rest of the defense feeds off him, and they use it too to their advantage. There's no question that all the help coming in the pass protection game goes toward Dwight Freeney. So all the other guys like Monte Rieger, Larry Triplett, Raheem Brock benefit from that attention over here at the bottom of your screen.
They go to a draw play to counter the rush, and it works well. As a big hit is put on, Mike Doss came up and put the strike on, and Drones with a 10-yard gain.
Drones is going to stay down.
Yeah, he got labeled.
Well, we mentioned that Tony Dungy wanted his defensive backs to be more physical, and Mike Doss doing just that.
Drones told us yesterday his whole team, the whole Brown team, is motivated by the fact that nobody expects us to do well. Nobody expects us to win. Let it go on the official record that Reuben Drones is a tough man. Taking that hit, and he's up, jogged off, he's walking the sidelines. Now Dilfer gets some rare time and makes a connection out to the 35-yard line on a first down play. It's good for about 3 to William Green.
Dilfer picking himself up off the ground.
Dilfer told us the speed of the Colt defense can cover up any mistakes they mistake. They recover.
Watch here. We'll see it. Get a moment right after he lets this loose. Watch low on the quarterback, and that hurts. And I don't know why that wasn't called. I think that should have been called, no question. I think that's a missed call by Triplett, the official. You can't hit the quarterback, particularly that late.
Corey Simon, 97, is the guy who hit him. Dilfer, a good throw and catch as he delivers the ball down. He bobbles it and loses it. Does Antonio Bryant. Ball right on him.
You know, got a moment. In the last 2 weeks, this Colt defense has really gotten after the quarterback. Kyle Bowler gets tackled from behind. He's out, did not return, and then Byron Leftwich bobbles this ball, gets up, and gets bent by this defense. Now, he finished the game, but he was lumped up after a very physical beating throughout. There's John Tierlink, who had a few words with Byron Leftwich during the game last week.
Yes, there were definitely some unpleasantries. Byron Leftwich, here is a drop now by Dilfer and a throw over the middle, and it's caught by Braylon Edwards on that same play. They broke it for 80 yards and a touchdown last week at Green Bay when Edwards just ran away from everybody in the Packers secondary. That was good for 20.
I'll tell you what, Trent Dilfer was impressive on that play. I mean, he bent down and just had to climb to his feet a play or two ago, then stood tall in the pocket, didn't look at the rush, and delivered that football down the field on a third down. That's why this guy can really play, and that's why the Browns went out and got him. He was a backup in Seattle. They promised him if he got a chance to start, they'd let him go. Mike Holmgren was good to his word, and the Browns are glad he was.
He said being a backup on Sunday is brutal. Everybody wants to play. Here's Antonio Bryant as he works the sidelines, and the Browns now getting some jump in their offense. Get an 8-yard gain on that play. Monte Rieger dropping back actually knocked him out of bounds. Even the Brown down lineman, Steve, can get back.
This is exactly the Brown. This
Colts
is the Browns
down
game
lineman.
plan. Now, this is an offensive drive that's been great. You remember this started inside their 10-yard lines. You look at Maurice Carthon calling the plays, and he has really shown that he has been gifted. I mean, he hasn't been able to do it. He's been on the offensive side of the ball. He's been in this offense for a long time. He knows what works.
8-play drive so far. Dilfer throwing on the run, throws hard. His tight end catches the ball. They've really shut down Hayden, 82, who had a career day against the Packers last week. Caught 6 for 102 yards and 2 touchdowns.
If Steve Hyden can keep his feet, this is a first down, no question. As it ends up, it's going to be 3rd and short. But you see here, he catches it. Foot catches in the turf. Gets to his feet with second effort, but still short of the 3rd down. And you're right, Steve Hyden has been a pleasant surprise for this offense. Came through huge last week. They're looking for him at different times this week as well. Dilfer trusts him.
3rd and short. Colts jump into a gap defense now. Bring them all up. Here comes a blitzer. They run blitz. Dilfer play faking, throws the ball downfield, and it's over the hand of rookie receiver Braylon Edwards. Josh Thomas, 91, getting the heat on. Ron Meeks, defensive coordinator, Steve. He's got all combination packages coming on the rush.
But I'll tell you what, Romeo Cornell's doing the right thing. He went to Mo Carthon and said, get this first down. We're going for it on 4th and 1. I think that's the right thing. You're 10 points down in the 3rd quarter. Give your guys a chance to get the first down and stay on the field. I think that's exactly the right thing for Romeo Cornell to do. And now Tony Dungy is thinking, oh man, I thought we had him stopped. And as a defense, it's kind of a slap in the face. You better stand tall and stop him.
Well, Dilfer said of his former coach Dungy, he's the most patient man I ever met. He doesn't think he can go the long field on him. And they dive and get to the 35-yard line. And here comes the linesman in.
It's going to be a spot. We'll see if they get it.
He's going to get it.
Surprised him with the pitch. I thought it was going to be a power run inside. They stretched the defense, and for a fast defense like this, you really got to execute perfectly. Cato June was in the backfield, and it really drones broke a tackle 3 yards deep.
Moved it back a little bit. This, if he gets, it's going to be by the nose of the ball. This is going to be really close.
You know, as a defensive coordinator, Ron Meeks is saying, man, I had him.
They had the ball on the line, and then the official spot is back a little bit.
This is what it comes down to right here. Got it.
Man.
Ruben Drones got that. Cato June got into the backfield. Watches as Drones gets to the outside. Cato June gets right into the backfield, and Drones makes him miss. Well, right there was the play of the game for the Browns.
This is the same Ruben Drones who took a shot about 3 minutes ago that absolutely would look like a
Mo Carthon
knockout shot.
Mo Carthon rolled the dice, and the boys came up for him.
Dilfer continues to throw for high average. 19 of 22 for 173 yards, but not yet close to the end zone. Here's a throw and a catch. And Antonio Bryant drives inside the 20-yard line. And Bryant's ahead for 17 yards and a Browns first down.
Now, we did a package at halftime that said Trent Dilfer had been sacked and he'd been hurried. Not in the second half. It looks as though that experience on the offensive line for the Browns has really went in at halftime, settled down and talked to each other, got their communication all straight. Trent Dilfer has been solid in the pocket thus far in the second half.
Well, Dungy said of Dilfer, he understands what's important in football. It's winning and nothing else. He'll do whatever it takes. Standing in, another flat pass, beautifully thrown by Dilfer. Triggers it to the very quick Dennis Northcutt, number 86.
This game, you can feel the tension in this building. I mean, this is the defense for the Colts that came up and really literally won 2 games for this team in the opening 2 weeks. And now, with this Cleveland offense coming in and Trent Dilfer being as efficient as he has, all of a sudden it's a dogfight.
Hey, it's Steve, if the Browns take it in here and they have second down and a long 3 coming up. 2nd and 7 for a touchdown. We could have some 4th quarter if the Browns can narrow the gap. They go to the draw play. Colts hunting the ball, trying to rip it free. They cannot. And Drones, well, you got to admire the courage of this guy, Ruben Drones. I mean, he took a kill shot before and comes back.
And you got to like the way the plays are being called. Maurice Carthon, it's interesting. He played in this offense as a player. Romeo Cornell brought him over and told him, you're going to call the plays. Maurice Carthon played in this offense. He coached in this offense, and now he's calling plays in this offense. He knows it inside and out, and he's giving his guys a chance to be successful.
I tell you, in an I-back lead, Mo Carthon was a knockout blocker. He's a lead blocker. 3rd down and less than a yard for a first down. They get that as the dive is down to the 6-yard line.
I like that. I like that. As the 3rd quarter comes to a close, just get the first down. Get your guys to the 4th quarter with a chance.
Now, word from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS. and the Colts right now with that stout defense back to the goal line. The Browns come out. First down and goal.
Trent Dilfer had something to yell down at the bottom of the screen to Antonio Bryant just after the huddle broke. We'll see if it has a focus in this play.
Colts fans kick in now. Here's Dilfer. Throws to the end zone. Way too high. Braylon Edwards at 6'3" and a good leaper couldn't get to it. Jason David, 42, covering on the play. It's interesting when talked to Romeo Crennel, Steve, he talked about the negative vibes around the team that he had. You could sense him when you got in there, and there's such a great feeling in this Browns organization now.
We asked him what the first thing he saw. What do you have to change? He said the attitude in the building. We wanted to get a different attitude. A lot of new players, a lot of new coaches, and he's done it. This is a team that really likes the direction he's got them headed.
But can they head to the end zone? Here's Drones, and he is stood up and driven back. Those small, very quick defenders for the Colts with head-on hits. All those impact hitters, they make up for their lack of size with a real ability to deliver a blow. Now it's huge. Third and goal.
There's a lot to be said for velocity on defense.
Hayden, who was so productive last week, the tight end for the Browns, has done very little today. They've really taken him out of the game for the most part. One short catch. Will he get the ball? He's aligned to the right. Dilfer. Fastball. Touchdown. No, he lost it. Antonio Bryant had the ball and lost it. As Bob Sanders, that power hitter, the former Hawkeye, knocked it free.
Maurice Carthon had the play called. Trent Dilfer fired the ball in there, but the physical hit of the defensive back jarred it loose. Nick Harper, right there, Nick Harper and Sanders both converge, and the ball comes loose. I'll tell you what, Don, that's a train wreck in there.
Not an easy business to be catching balls in there with those kind of guys coming at you. It's a 22-yard field goal by Dawson is delivered up and good. The Browns inch closer. Colts lead by 7, and the Colts get the ball when we come back. Game has been a 15-rounder. Knockout punches delivered on both ways. Both sides as now Ran Carthon runs it back. Who's the last man standing in this one? We're back. Still over 14 minutes to play in the game. The last drive of the Browns, 19 plays, used up 8 minutes. But they came away with a field goal. Colts with the lead, a 7-point lead. Go to that ball control offense now. Gonna run clock. Here's a play fake. Manning throws in the flat, gets it to Harrison, and Marvin Harrison and Peyton Manning combining together on that for 16 yards. They have now accounted for more yardage as a throw-catch combination in the NFL than Kelly and Andre Reed at Buffalo. The record setters just did it.
Hall of Fame numbers.
Manning to James on a first down carry. Manning today has thrown the ball 17 times, has completed 13. 179 yards, no TDs. He's been intercepted once.
There's the record you see, and what a great career these guys have put together. And I'll tell you, they do. It's not just two guys playing together. They have a relationship where they don't even have to talk on the football field, and they know what each other is thinking. That's a special pair of guys.
How do you think Kelly and Andre will take it? Tip the hand. Right here is a throw, and it's Marvin Harrison running the ball.
I don't know. I have to call them and ask them. They'll shake their, they'll know. I mean, I'm sure they'll tip their hats.
They know right now.
They know right now, no question. They know it's been done.
10-yard gain.
And they're not done. I mean, these guys have got years ahead of them as well. I mean, that's the scary part about it. This record's going to be astronomical when Harrison and Manning finally hang them up.
The Colts will tell you Harrison is one of the most remarkably conditioned athletes in the league. His body fat is down. Someone said below 1%. Doesn't have a lot of bulk, but he said he can run all day as fast as you want him to go.
I spoke to their quality control coach, Pete Metzlars, who's out at practice. He was a roommate of mine with the Buffalo Bills and Andre Reed and Jim Kelly. And he said, you know, and Marvin Harrison, we were standing there on the sidelines about an hour before game time, or actually 2 hours, and Marvin Harrison comes running by and running by again and running by again. He says that guy never stops running. He runs at practice. He takes every rep at practice, runs before, during, and after practice. It's amazing. He's an amazing athlete.
Man can go. Here's Manning. He checks down to everybody. He sees everybody out there. This time the ball's delivered to Reggie Wayne, guy who is a fearless receiver over the middle, and a guy who benefits a lot from the double teams on Harrison, and then returns the favor lately because he's been getting double more and more.
And there you go. Peyton Manning passing something in his career. Second fastest in NFL history to reach 30,000 yards. I mean, these guys have got it going on offensively, and that's why it was such a surprise at the way they started out this season.
Fastest guy there was our own Dan Marino. Fastest at 30,000 yards. Third down, less than one.
I think he was also the fastest to 60,000, wasn't he?
He's the only one to 60,000.
That was right.
Yeah, no matter when he got there. 17 years of throwing the ball. Here is a run by Edger and James, and he turns the corner. And he's cut down well short of the first down.
I was talking to Brian Russell. I met him in the elevator last night. He said his offense is a handful. You got to get into their backfield, and he did. Great read by Russell. Goes out, takes his feet out, makes him go wide, gives the linebackers a chance to pursue. What a huge, huge stop for the Cleveland defense.
Browns playing good football for the most part against one of the NFL's very best teams. But this Colt defense will not allow anybody in their end zone.
Browns lead their defense, a lot of their defenders on the field in case of a fake.
In almost 3 full games, the Colts have given up a total of 16 points this season. Northcutt, fair catching the ball at the 16. And now let's see if Dilfer and the Browns, who had a 19-play drive the last time to a field goal, can move the ball again. This is Don Criqui with Steve Tasker back at Indianapolis. The Browns down by 7. The Colts with that tough, super fast defense dig in. Dilfer goes to a draw. And Reuben Drones, who's taken some shots today but keeps on running, is hit by Bob Sanders. Slight gain.
This Colt defense, one of the things Tony Dungy wanted was a more physical presence in the defensive backfield and a good pass rush. And ask and ye shall receive. The Colt defenders are swinging the big hammer today. And the Cleveland offense hung in tough for a 19-play drive in the last quarter. We'll see what they can do this time.
Second down, a long 7 for Dilfer and the Browns. Quick timing throw. It's off the fingertips of his receiver, Braylon Edwards. So if he plays out his career with no more injuries, I think he could go down as the greatest receiver of all time. How about that for an accolade?
That's a big statement.
From Tim Brown, the first ballot Hall of Famer. Here's a throw and a catch. A beautifully thrown ball, and they finally get it downfield to Hayden. He's ahead on a third down play for a first down.
Well, when in doubt, Dilfer knows where to go. Hayden is a guy he trusts. He's a big target. And he has the ability, too, on an outside chance. If you get him the ball breaking a tackle, he took one the distance a week ago. And this is exactly what Trent Dilfer is so good at. He trusts his receivers. He inspires confidence. And a lot of these guys on this offense are going to learn a lot of things from this veteran who was brought in to help steady him.
Browns down by 7. Drive on, and the Colts are up to stopping the run. No problems off the field, and they think he can be as good as anybody they have.
That's saying something with Chad Scott on their roster.
They think he's a Chad Johnson in the works. In the making. Here is a give straight ahead.
Jeff Fisher teams never go away.
He's rebuilding. They had some cap problems. Had to restructure. Let some good players go, like Derek Mason to the Ravens as a free agent. Dilfer runs away from the rush. He fires, and it comes in on the 1 hop. Big rush put on. And then Doss defending on the play, so the Browns stall and have to punt the ball.
I still like the play call. Move the pocket. Trent Dilfer, they know they're going to get a lot of pressure, so they move the pocket. Dilfer boots out, gives himself some extra time. He just can't turn his hips and get enough on that throw before the pressure gets here, and he's mad. He knows he didn't get enough on that throw, even without looking downfield.
He is 22 for 29 today throwing the ball. Here's the punter, Kyle Richardson. He punted for a Super Bowl winner in Baltimore. And it takes a good hop for him. And what looked like a minor disaster the way it came off his foot ends up as a pretty productive punt at 33 yards, no return. The Colts broke ground this week for a beautiful new stadium they expect to have in operation for the 2008 season. Right now they have a 7-point lead. Romeo Crennel said of his friend Tony Dungy, he's just fine winning a game 10-7. It doesn't have to be all those touchdowns.
You got to look, as a touchdown difference in this game, it has been an absolute battle. So many big hits, so much hard fought action on both sides. Really a credit to both these clubs and their head coaches.
It really has. The Browns felt they had to be very physical.
There's another instance of it there. Reggie Wayne taking a big hit from Ben Taylor.
Linebacker from Virginia Tech, Ben Taylor, an underrated player. One of the best newcomers to the Browns is a linebacker, Matt Stewart, who came in as a free agent, but Matt is out today with an injury. It hasn't helped their defense. He's played very well, a former Atlanta Falcon, one of the 12 free agents the Browns signed in the offseason.
Now Peyton Manning changes the play, and the Browns change their defense.
3rd and a long 2.
And they got a penalty.
Away a game.
Number 71
got a false start.
That's a 5-yard penalty. It's still 3rd down.
What turned from a 3rd and 2 now turns into a 3rd and 7. That's a much different animal for Peyton Manning. And every 3rd down at this point, Don, is crucial. 6:28 left in the game. Tony Dungy, they put together some long drives, but he needs his team to have the football because Trent Dilfer and the Browns offense has been very efficient, and they could bust. They could bust loose for a big one.
In the second half, Manning hasn't missed. 9 for 9 for 78 yards. Stepping up, delivers the ball. Wayne has the first down. And then loses the ball. They're going to rule he was down by contact. Galen McCutcheon was on him quickly, so Wayne continues to be productive. And the Colts drive on.
And you can sense this crowd gives a huge roar for that first down. They know how important it is that their team hangs on to the football. And Peyton Manning being patient. You'll see Reggie Wayne right there, left to right, just finds him. And he turns up smartly for the first down. And that was a fumble, although he got it back.
Todd Grantham, a former assistant with the Colts, the defensive coordinator for the Browns, calling the defenses out. Handoff. James gets low as the defense comes in, and on a first down carry, he's ahead for about 3. 2nd down and 7. Hey, McKinley on the stop.
Excuse me, Don. You see Todd Grantham, the defensive coordinator, and everybody said, well, Romeo Crennel is going to install that Patriot defense, and Romeo had a nice statement to us. He says, I'm not going to get my guys to do what the Patriots do well. I'm going to get my guys to do what they do well. They've done it very well today.
One thing they're doing well, Steve, is running the clock. As you see, it is now down to 4:52 and running. 2nd down arises. Here's Manning stepping up in the pocket. Goes a fastball over the middle, right on the hands of his receiver, Marvin Harrison. Another run. Keep the clock going.
We're walking some people up to the line of scrimmage, and Peyton Manning stopped and is going to change the play. Just got it off.
He's going to throw. Here comes the blitzer. He gets away before the blitzer, and again he goes to Wayne. He's caught 6 for almost 100 yards.
And they're one of the rare times the Browns do bring some extra pressure. Reggie Wayne comes out, runs the stop route.
6 for 98, Steve, for Reggie Wayne.
Working against Gary Baxter, one of the guys we spoke to yesterday. And I'll tell you what, you've got your hand full as a defensive back against this Colt offense. It just doesn't change.
A field goal this late in the game might put the Colts over the top. A 10-point advantage, and here is Edgerrin James running again as he gets down to about the 31-yard line. Gain of 3 yards, but that's fine with the Colts as they run the clock. We asked Romeo Crennel if he's having fun as a head coach. He said, well, it was fun last week.
Yeah.
When you win, it is.
No question about it. It's always funner when you win. And this is a guy who's got his program installed. He likes the direction, but there's no question he's got some more things he wants to do. Huge turnover on the roster in his first year. We'll see which guys he decides to keep and how he continues to change this team as the days and years go by.
Well, we asked Tony Dungy what he thought of the Browns. He said, I know one thing, they're going to keep getting better. Their system is good. They got good people in place. Here is the handoff, and James with a brilliant run. We talked about his vision. He sees every gap. Give him a little. He gets a lot. That was for 14 yards.
And this is what happens. This is the stretch play. Watch how far Peyton Manning and how hard he has to reach just to get the ball to Edgerrin James. It spreads the defense of the Browns out. And as we said, nobody sees everything as well as Edgerrin James does. He finds the gap in the defense and gets the big gain on first down. Right now, the Browns have to focus on getting the football back somehow, some way.
So what James has done, biggest thing he's done, he scored the game's only touchdown. 3 games they've allowed.
Not only are those defenses impressive, some of them are very surprising.
Right now, Manning, a master at running the game out when he has a lead, has a first down and 10 and 2 minutes to play. James, the workhorse, continues to drive the ball at the Browns defense. He's down to the 12.
This is what the Colts have to do, just run the football. And they forced the Cleveland Browns now to take a timeout.
Timeout it is. Tony Dungy not counting his winnings yet. We're back. Don Criqui with Steve Tasker. The stretch run of this game at Indianapolis. Manning and the Colts up by 7. Second down and 4 coming up as Manning now. That traffic cop mode, changing things around, comes up under center. Jeff Saturday hands off. And Edgerrin James in his wisdom works for a little yardage, but he most importantly runs the clock. We're back with 1:51 left to play. The Colts in command at this point. Up by a touchdown. Third down arises, 3rd and 3. Browns down to 1 timeout. Back to Edgerrin James. Working hard. And that will be the knockout punch. If in fact, now did he lose the ball? Got a first down if he didn't.
No signal from the officials. They're saying no, he was down. We'll take a look at this. Now this is inside the 2-minute warning, so if it's close, it'll go up to upstairs. It won't be on the field where the coaches will decide if it's reviewed. And he's down. He's down. No question about it. And the Cleveland Browns have to take their final timeout.
So the Colts now in position to run out the clock when we come back. We're back. Indianapolis, Indiana, the RCA Dome. 1:28 left to play in the game. Manning today has not thrown for a touchdown. He has completed 19 of 23 for 228 yards. He's been intercepted once.
And this is all over as Peyton Manning, I think, the right thing to do, kneel down at the end of this game. And I think, you know, that might be just the tip of the hat to how hard the Cleveland Browns have played in this game. And also to Peyton Manning about not going for a cheap touchdown at the end. I mean, this game was a dogfight. What a hard-fought battle. I mean, it was really physical. And you look there, Frisman Jackson. You think back to the opening quarter when the Browns returned the punt. And this is Dennis Northcutt. And back there you see the flag at the top of the screen. It was brought back after the touchdown run. What might have been had the penalty not been called.
Yeah, the Browns had 2 touchdowns called back in their opening loss to Cincinnati. So it's been tough, and now the clock ticks out. The Browns powerless to stop it. It's just a chance to tell you the executive producers of the NFL on CBS are Sean McManus and Tony Petiti. Today's game was produced by Victor Frank and directed by Andy Goldberg. Our thanks also to our staff, Sean Gerchikoff, Jason Ross, Brian Sealing, Tom McCarthy, Ed Collins, Pat Thornton, And Rhett will do it as the Colts go to 3-0. A battle it was from start to finish. The Browns, better days are coming. But today the Colts continue to roll. Off to a 3-0 start and headed for the playoffs again, it would appear. Now for Steve Tasker, this is Don Criqui. Glad you could join us as we go to New York and the Great Gum